Now let's come down to earth. Unless you are managing a heavy load application and really need a distributed execution, probably running your K6 tests from a single instance is still a decent option. This has the advantage that you are running K6 from your own infrastructure and can access servers which are typically not publicly accessible. Now, of course, you can do the same with K6 Cloud, but it does require a bit of extra setup. Still, if you decide to run your K6 tests locally, you don't really have to give up on the K6 Cloud altogether. You can still use K6 locally and export the test execution report to the cloud. Let me show you how, and trust me, it is relatively simple. And this is all done from the CLI. So I'm gonna just bring back the previous command that we have executed, and I'm gonna replace here cloud with run. So run will indicate that the execution is taking place locally. We're not using the cloud. But then we can specify a flag, which is -o. O stands for output essentially. And we can specify here cloud. I'm gonna extend a bit the execution to 20 seconds or 30 seconds so that we can take a better look. I'm just gonna use a single virtual user because we don't need a lot of load. What we're gonna see here right from the beginning is that the execution is starting. And the execution here is local. We have the script, and then we also have here the output. As you can see here, if you're hovering over this, this is a link. So if you press Control or Command, depending on your operating system, you can open this up in your browser. So this is what I'm gonna do. And in your browser, you can see this graph and all these details here updating as the test is running. So if you have a test that is running for a longer time and you want to understand what is actually going on behind the scenes, you don't want to wait for the final report that K6 offers, right? So this report is only being shown at the end. But here in the K6 Cloud dashboard, we can take a look at everything that is happening almost instantly. This is also called cloud streaming, since we are essentially streaming the results to the cloud as they happen. However, there's still something super important you need to know. This option is also using cloud resources. Using this option, we are still consuming virtual user hours. You will see here at the top, virtual user hours. So even if this was a local execution, we have still consumed one virtual user hour by simply streaming this to the cloud. And this was like a relatively short experiment. So when developing such tests, it's still super important to run them locally. So it is best to save those virtual user hours by working on your scripts locally, running them locally, and then running them in the cloud only as needed.